Hello friends and families. I am here today to make a video on why I oppose genetically modified foods, and we're doing a video campaign and we'll be uploading these videos online and to social medias to try and let people know that we care about why it's important that you understand and have more knowledge, maybe even research yourself about genetically modified foods. And hopefully you won't mind me reading off of some of what I found on the internet, because it really explains it better than I could put into words myself. One of the reasons, well, there are basically 10. One of the reasons here in the United States, genetically engineered foods are not labeled or separated from conventional foods. And because of this, we do not have a choice. Regulations in Europe do require mandatory labeling of GE foods, and consumer choice is still threatened because of cross-pollination and contamination. When genetically engineering is planted in the fields, the family shopper really has no choice, and this is a threat to our food. The second reason is the health risks. Genetic engineering can make foods that were once safe to eat a threat to people with allergies. And because this process is unpredictable, new substances can develop in engineered foods. The FDA knows this and does some testing, but there are no guarantees. Besides new allergies, inserting genes into plants and animals can cause existing genes to react in unknown ways, including nutritional values and changes in organism quality. There are a lot of health risks associated with digesting genetically modified foods, and also it causes a lot of issues with people. Another reason is ecological risks. By engineering plants to be resistant to pesticides and herbicides, we not necessarily affect the web of life. Other plants and animals not considered will be impacted, and as it has been said, when one string in the web is tugged, it pulls on all the others. So it's not only bad for humans, it's bad for our plants and animals and the whole ecological system that Mother Nature intended for us. Biodiversity is a danger. Engineering specific traits into select species threatens the planet's biodiversity by upsetting the natural balance. Engineered organisms spread uncontained into the wild. They also spread their genes into the gene pool, and once engineered organisms are released, there are no recalls. And as they continue to upset nature, it may be impossible to undo the damages. And we've already seen cross-contamination, and actually seeds that weren't meant to be planted have infiltrated some of our fields and is causing issues. Genetic engineering is about corporate and control of agriculture. And the reason to engineer and patent a seed is to make money off of a captive market. Although some family farmers in the U.S. are using this technology, they are not the driving force behind its creation. Genetically engineered crops further lock farmers into a cycle of dependence on quick fix techno schemes with royalty fees and debts to the bank. You can find very few farmers that are able to reuse the original seeds anymore. So as such, it just perpetuates a continual cycle of genetically modified crops. Organic agriculture is at risk because of this. Genetically engineered plants do not recognize buffer zones and contaminate the fields, as I said. They drift and they will be carried wherever fate will have it. Contamination of conventional and organic crops isn't a matter it's a matter of when. And like I said, it's already been happening. These new creations will have proven impossible to contain outside the lab. So we're wondering who would be liable when this contamination occurs. Well, it's not the biotech companies. And currently there are few, if any, laws assigning liability to new architects. The laws that do exist are concerned with intellectual property rights. And it seems that the courts want to be certain you pay for every GE seed that grows, whether you planted it or not. And when I say you, I'm pretty much talking about the farmers. There are economic misjudgments that go along with that. These crops cost more money than expected. They also carry loads of new risks. Scandals like the Starlink contamination caused Asian markets to shut down to American corn imports. This risk of loss of foreign markets resulted in the abandonment of genetically engineered wheat in 2004. There are quite a few of our foreign markets that have basically boycotted any wheat or soy, that's corn, that we could export to them because they are genetically engineered. And like I said, a lot of countries do not allow those types of crops into their land. There's also an increase in insecticide and herbicide use. When plants are engineered to resist insecticides, farmers spray more insecticide on the plants. And you couple that with pests building up insecticide resistance because of the larger dosage or usage, and you have a company selling more chemicals in an environment more polluted and a farmer more dependent. In addition to the use of these insecticides and herbicides, those go into the food themselves as they grow, and they're still there when you eat them. So you are ingesting the herbicides and pesticides that are sprayed onto the plants. I don't think anybody wants to do that. Monopolization of food production is another issue. The spread of genetic engineering coincides with widening legal possibilities to patent plants and their genes. Patents on food bear the strict danger that a few transnational corporations obtain exclusive control over the whole food chain and the food production, from the gene to the dish. Initial conflicts over patent rights in North America show how in the future farmers may lose some of their rights concerning their crops. Patents on life are not compatible with the concept of intellectual property rights. They confer rights which go far beyond what the inventor has really accomplished. There's also the myth of fighting world hunger by companies using these modified plants, saying that they will produce more because they are bug resistant. The promise to overcome world hunger with the help of genetically engineering is not credible. Research and development of genetically modified plants are organized privately and lie in the hands of only a few big corporations in the North, which protect their products through patents. This development is addressed to the needs of intensive industrialized farming in the Earth's temperate zone. The genetically modified plants don't yet contribute to the solution of agriculture problems in the tropics. Patents and technology fees prevent the transfer of technology from north to south. Deficient nutrition is not a problem of food quantity, but of power and distribution. There is no scarcity of food in the world, but grave deficiencies in access to food and distribution. So a lot of this source is basic outline and text adapted and borrowed from the Church's statement on genetic engineering in 2003. It really breaks down perfectly why I'm such an activist about getting at least labeling of these contaminants in our food so that we can make a educated decision on whether you want to consume it for you or yourself or your family. If it was within my power, I would make sure none of my family ate any of this, but everybody's growing up now, and all I can do is try and educate everyone on the terrible things that these companies are doing to us. So that, in a nutcase, is why I am so passionate about working with grassroots groups to get this labeling in place. I would prefer GMOs to completely go away. I don't believe rationally that will happen, but there's always hope. So God bless and eat healthy. Thanks.